Alright lads, so if you've been keeping up to date with the Bleach Assault Resonance news, you will know that TOSHIRO is going to be our next available SSR character. And we recently tried out the character yesterday because you can play him early if you do progress fast enough in the story game modes. And even though, of course, TOSHIRO is going to be a very exciting character, at least personally, I very much did enjoy my time playing with him, TOSHIRO is not the only character, of course, coming to Bleach Soul Resonance. Because what we do have here, courtesy of the Bleach SR Front's Twitter account, is some of the upcoming characters, at least those that are present in the current game's files. And for those that maybe want to plan ahead in case your favorite character is soon to release, these are some of the characters coming our way that could be seen in 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time, could be seen 2 months from now. Some might even take longer to arrive in the game. So just because the character is present here does not mean they are necessarily coming out soon. So to clarify, the reason why some of these characters are even shown here is because either their artwork is in the game's files or people have seen the character be playable firsthand. So in this case, right, on the topic of Full Hollow Ichigo, because he to me is going to be one of the most exciting character releases in this game, at least in my opinion, until maybe we get to Fullbringers and also Blood War characters. One of the things that I'm loving right now about Soul Resonance is the fact that we didn't just jump straight into the 1000-year Blood War arc. Even though, of course, that would have been cool to get some really cool characters. Bankai Yamamoto, Bankai Shunsui. There's a lot of very exciting characters coming our way in the Blood War arc, but I like to be excited about the original Bleach story. The earlier Bleach arc, Soul Society, stuff that happens in the Arranca, Hueco Mundo arcs. Right now, at least for the time being, I can get my 1000-year Blood War fix from Brave Souls, Rebirth of Souls, and when the anime does air. I like that I'm actually excited for some of these early Bleach characters, like a, just normal Kenpachi. He's gonna be super cool when he does release. So going over each individual character real quick, again, first up, Full Hollow Ichigo. He might not be here anytime soon. He might take the longest to come out of all these units. But he does exist. I can't show gameplay, but I have personally seen it firsthand when the developers came to me to talk about the game around 2 to 3 years ago. I believe Okiura, so Gunda Atapa in particular, versus Ichigo, was one of the first things they ever developed for this game. So a Full Hollow Ichigo character does exist out there. I don't think there's gameplay available on the internet, because even though I'm saying I was shown it, that is still confidential in terms of, the actual gameplay itself. I honestly don't remember much from what I saw with Full Hollow Ichigo. I just remember the game looking really cool. That was like the first thing I ever saw about Soul Resonance, which at the time was called Project Blades. So Ichigo Full Hollow might take a while to come out, but he's definitely going to be arriving in the game as expected. It's a big form. I would say it's best for them to save him for like a big celebration, 100-day, 6-month anniversary, or 1-year anniversary. Although I feel like Dangai Ichigo and Full Power Aizen, or the Butterfly Aizen, might be best to save for 1 year if they do want to do that. It really depends on how fast we progress through these arcs by the time we do get to the first anniversary, which, at this point is a year away, so we don't need to really focus on that. In regards to Kenpachi, currently he was playable in the very first beta test. Every beta test that came out after, the character itself was removed. But again, in a previous version, one that I played myself, Kenpachi was playable, and we actually even have gameplay. There's a chance when this character does release, maybe he's going to be the next character because he is technically ready. He might look a tad bit different, he might play a tad bit different, maybe some of the skills passive might change. But for those that want to have a look at Kenpachi as a character, this is his gameplay. And yeah, he's definitely going to be another good character. At least in the previous beta, he was a slash unit. So for those that are potentially missing out on Bankai Ichigo as your go-to slash type damage dealer full assault unit, Kenpachi in a way is going to be a replacement or an additional character that you can use in your team. In regards to Nelio and also Okiura, this Nelio art that you are seeing is what is available in the game's data mine. I believe this is going to be her boundary screen, which I believe is also taken from a manga cover. So again, in regards to Nelio, we're not really sure when she's going to arrive into the game, but she is one of the few characters that have files present in the game, so probably expect her to come sometime soon. But you never know. Again, some characters could release in this game that aren't even data mineable. But the fact that they are there is a good sign that they are going to potentially release soon. Okiura, I don't think is present in the game's files in terms of any art assets, but again, in the demo that I saw with Full Hollow Ichigo, he was fighting Okiura, and I believe actually there is a super early gameplay with Okiura doing some of the basic attacks, so this is an example of what he will look like in game. In the case for this gameplay, it's super early. That wasn't playable officially in any of the betas. So again, no guarantee the character will look exactly the same when he does arrive officially, which again could be a month from now, could be 2 months from now, could be 3 months from now. But I assume in regards to Okura, we would get 2 forms. Would Okura and by default Neliel, would they activate their resurrection? I'm not too sure. I definitely see Neliel resurrecting into her horse form when she releases. But I feel like Okura, since he does get shown so much earlier in the story, we could get a base Okura at the start, and then later on get a Segunda Etapa, or maybe we could get his resurrected form as the base character, and then once you do activate the ultimate, you transform into a Segunda Etapa form. They can definitely stretch out 2 character releases with Okura. Don't think they can do any more than that. But at least as of right now, this is potentially going to be our slash type characters. I'm very curious to see how some of these characters are going to play out in terms of their role in a potential slash type team, if that is to be the case. Because right now, when I see these 4 characters, I'm expecting them to be DPS units. Full assault units is the term in-game. I can never see Ichigo not being a full assault slash unit. Quite frankly, all 3 characters in the game currently are exactly that. So Full Hello being another full assault slash type unit is probably something that I would expect. With Okura, I could see him being a support character. Now, maybe not, I don't know. Okura's big thing is that he has like crazy healing capabilities, more so for himself, but it would be kind of funny if they turn that into a support character, at least for his very first release. And the same with Neliel, she could go down any route. With any of these characters, they can go down any route, truth be told. They could be a sub DPS, tactical unit, full assault, main DPS, or support unit, you know? When it comes to the Thrust team, so this one is pretty much confirmed. We do have a graphic of Rangiku as an SR and Gin as an SSR. All we know, this could be the next character releasing after Toshiro. So in my opinion, the next character released after Toshiro is likely to be Kenpachi or Gin. It really depends. I think Gin would make a bit more sense because I believe the Toshiro event is going to be based around his whole fight with Gin. And Rangiku is the lieutenant for Toshiro, so it does make sense to me to release both Toshiro and Gin back to back, let them be the 2 limited banners. We get an SR Momo, and then we also do get an SR Rangiku. So Rangiku is a Thrust type SR, and then Gin is going to be a SSR Thrust type unit as well. For me personally, I'm really hoping he is going to be a DPS unit as stated here. I'm not sure if he is confirmed to be, but personally that's what I want in a Thrust unit, especially because the idea is that you are likely to use Kaname with Gin. And Kaname right now is a really good sub DPS, one of the best in the game, especially with his bleed aspect. And it'd be really cool if Gin can also apply bleed to wound in this case and contribute toward doing crazy damage. Now, Grimmjow is currently in game 2 as a playable boss, but just because they are a boss in game doesn't, mean they are going to look exactly the same when they do become playable. But again, similar to Okura, more so maybe not Neliel, I could definitely see us getting 2 Grimmjow releases. One where he's just in the base form, based off his appearance in the Hueco arc. Maybe in this case he has 1 arm. Maybe 2 arms, I'm not too sure what route they want to go down. And then maybe later on we can get his resurrected form as an awakening or an ultimate. But then again, we do have Vised Ichigo already playable in the current Bankai Ichigo, where we are technically in the Soul Society arc. So, for all we know, maybe they are just going to jump straight into it and give these Espada the resurrections for their ultimates. Again, a role for Grimmjow is not confirmed, but honestly, right now, I really can't see this character be anything other than a sub-DPS, or most importantly, a main DPS. When it comes to the Spirit team, Toshiro, of course, is already confirmed to release alongside Momo. He is going to be a Spirit-type DPS unit, and the first of its kind. There's no SSR in the Spirit typing. Originally, it was Keyscape, but they did change him in the beta. So that is why Toshiro is going to be a big release in Soul Resonance just under 2 weeks from now. Not only is he going to be the first new character, he is also the only SSR Spirit type. Momo, again, already confirmed. Aizen, I believe, does have some data mined files artwork in the game. I don't know if it's confirmed if he is going to be a Spirit type or a tactical unit. Maybe it is. Like always, things can change. You never know. Nothing is set in stone until they're announced officially. But I guess I could see Aizen being a tactical unit. Again, curious to see what Aizen they are going to go with. I don't believe this is artwork. Official artwork of the character in-game. But also at the same time with Aizen, I'm curious to see what route they are going to go down. Because personally, I would like to get a Captain Aizen first and foremost that takes off the glasses, slicks the hair back as an ultimate. That would be really cool. They could just jump straight into it and give us a Hueco Aizen, where he's using Kyokusugetsu. And then again, later down the line, we can get all the evolutions. Very excited to see how they are going to handle the forms of Aizen. Because Aizen does have a lot of forms with the Hogaku evolution. But again, we're probably a while away from that happening My guess, maybe first anniversary. When it comes to the strike team, so right now in regards to Grimmjow, he is currently playable in the story mode as a character. It's not a combat story mode mission, but you can walk around with him during one of those stealth quests. I believe he was playable in the beta, if I can remember correctly, because I do recall Grimmjow being a strike type character. Either way though, it's Grimmjow, SR, probably going to be free. I do hope though, as we do continue with new character releases, we do continue to get more SR characters, because that'll be a good way, with especially Bleach as a cast. There's a lot of characters. Not every character deserves an SSR. So releasing an SR alongside an SSR is definitely the best way to go about it, in my opinion. It means even if you don't get the SSR, you could potentially walk away with a new character, something to, you know, use differently. Something to use. Maybe it's a lot easier to get your potential favorite character if you are a Rangiku fan. So I do hope, continuing on with these new character releases, SR characters can also continuously release alongside them. But Mayuri, again, I believe there's files of him in the game, so he's likely coming. I believe you can also fight him as a boss in game 2. And then we also do have Soifon as well. I like the idea. And I can definitely see Soifon being a strike unit, especially if as a sub DPS. That's what I would like for Soifon to be, a sub DPS to go alongside Yoruichi. Make Yoruichi even better. Yoruichi is a very fast character, so I would like to see Soifon be very similar. And the idea that you could potentially use both in the same team does actually sound kind of exciting. For Mayuri, again, could go down any route, sub DPS, support, I guess, maybe, and also main DPS. With a lot of Bleach characters, I can only really see them being main DPS for assault units, but they are going to have to like diversify the roster with different roles. So sometimes it might not make sense, but you kind of just have to roll with it until they maybe get a new character. But either way, at least as of right now, that is pretty much all the leaked characters in the game's files, or that personal people have seen up front, more so in regards to Full Hollow Ichigo, myself included. These characters are coming to the game eventually. We don't know exactly when. For me right now, I'm biased towards Full Hollow Ichigo. It's one of my favorite forms in the game. Definitely going to be summoned for him. Truth be told, I'm probably going to summon for every new character. And depending on their gameplay, that might sway my opinion. But I think I'm excited for Kenpachi, Ichigo, and also Nel and Aaroniero. And also Grimmjow. I'm excited for all of them. I can't lie. I'm excited for all of them. If I had to pick 2, Kenpachi and also Full Hollow Ichigo. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care and peace.